I'm a little bit late, but it's okay. Good morning, guys. Hope everybody's doing well. EVGA here for SerpentX Special Forces. This is Caffeine and Crypto, a live stream that I do pretty much every Saturday. Occasionally it will be 1 hour, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, and 9 a.m. Pacific. Used to do it at 11 a.m. in the morning my time, but it was too early. And I know a lot of us are split throughout the world in the crypto world, so jumped it down to 12. Don't have my NOS that I normally drink. I'm just drinking some coffee out of my Avengers cup. You can see if it will stop doing that. If you see me disappear, that's because that's an Nvidia broadcast, which is enabled again because I got an RTX 3080. Well, at least another one. Good morning, everybody that showed up. I've been talking to some people in the live chat for some time. Crypto Noob UK, Max Voltage, Yashnik stopped by. Yashnik, good to see you, bud. Looking forward to the poker tournament in December. Not sure if that was a spoiler, my bad, if it was a spoiler. But PCB guy, Ace K, Savage Mind, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a good week. Profit's been good in the crypto mining space. I know a lot of people are just mining Ethereum, but I've been trying to dabble in different projects as well. Oh, so my logo that's on the channel gets in the way of me. That's interesting. I'm trying a new setup this week. It's alright. We'll let it be for this one. I'd rather have my logo than some Russian website put it up as their own. Bitcoin sitting around 15,700 and been steadily coming down, but this is good. That kind of descent or ascent we were having was not really healthy. Usually when you have such a high uptick and quick rise in Bitcoin, that kind of messes with everything else, especially in the altcoins, which we primarily focus on in the altcoins because that's what we mine. We mine altcoins to either exchange for Bitcoin or because we believe in a project like Aeon, for example. Aeon, you can mine it and stake it. So that's exactly what I have done and continue to do. Ethereum, a lot of people are gathering that for what? Well, they're hoping that proof of stake will go live and they'll be able to become a validator with 32 ETH. So a lot of people are going after the altcoins because we don't have the hardware to mine one Bitcoin now unless you have a bunch of ASICs, which I do not. Let's see here. Today is the 14th. So we only recently started this down trend like last night basically. So now we're just stuck at the 4 hour. We're stuck between this 34 and 13 moving average. Let's see what the daily looks like. Yeah, we're good. If we ever fell back down, we'd probably touch the 15,000, 15,200 area. Let me, I'm not sure how my audio is, guys. Let me know if my audio is good, please, because I am using the Nvidia noise reduction, and it can sometimes make it too low, as we saw on Paul's hardware when they were doing a live stream. Let me turn off this fan over here real quick. The other fan that you hear, if you hear it, is the Noctua that I have at the front of my case, trying to blow cool air into the AIO, or not into, but pull cool air. They're very loud, 3,000 RPM, but they've been keeping my liquid temperatures down. Because when I had the RTX 3080 in my system, it was really loud. It was obnoxiously loud, or the fans were, and then it was getting very hot. Even though the Founders Edition cooler design is really cool, I like the AIB partners instead. I like the open air design. It does dissipate that hot air into the case, but the Founders Edition for some reason just ran a little bit toastier, increasing AIO liquid temperatures as well. So, but I believe the comparison that I did, showing you guys, a comparison as far as, temperatures, internal temperatures with a 1660 Super in it, a 2080, and then a 3080, and it was an incremental increase throughout, but it's not an increase because of the design of the Founders Edition. It's an increase because of the wattage that card is pulling. It's pulling 320 watts, whereas maybe an RTX 2080 overclock will pull about 300. So if you haven't checked out that video, please feel free to do so. Yeah, max voltage, I agree with that statement. Resistance levels look good, look like around 15.3 or 14.8. What I'm concerned about is multiple rejections at that 16K barrier. We broke past it, and I wish we would have sustained above it instead of pulling back down. But obviously, people want to take profits and do what they need to. But if we keep hitting that 16K wall multiple times, multiple rejections, we're gonna get thrown back down. We haven't had the big one though. Let's see here, how big is this? 7%. So the biggest one we had since this rise to the top. Let's take it from the top all the way down. It's only been 10%. That's what's a little worrying to me, because usually there will be a 30% pullback of some type, but we haven't had that yet. We may not. Maybe the space is growing, and a lot of retailers, investors, venture capitalists, whatever you want to call them, getting into it. The news from PayPal definitely did help, but it's definitely. I wish I would have bought more when we were sitting at the 1110 or the 10K, 11K range. I wish I would have got some more, but I had to take care of bills and stuff like that. I did unfortunately sell when we dipped down to 14 right here, 14.6. I had to sell some, but I wish I would have just bought right back in because of where we're at. But it's all good. I made $150. It's just it could have been 180 or something like that. So. Profits are still good though. On average, sitting anywhere between, on my mixed rig with only 5 cards, and then a mixed rig on the, it's not a mixed rig, the AMD system, but it only has 2 cards. Making about $6 up to $10 depending on who's paying. That's really what it boils down to. Is who's paying to have the hash rate that I'm offering, or if I'm going direct mining. So Bitcoin rally falters at the price, and the price drops below the 16K mark. Bitcoin's price quickly dropped below 16K Saturday morning, putting the rapid rally seen in recent weeks on a pause, right? So this is this morning. Around 10 UTC is when we saw the drop from about 16.3 to 15.7 during the Asia trading hours. And what I notice is sometimes when Asia takes over, they're really the ones that would pump us. And when the Americans or the our side of the world gets up, you see a bunch of sales. But this time the Asian market decided to take some profit. So still, this is a new high since what, 2019? What was the 2019 high? Let's go back to the daily. Yeah. So the 2019 high was 14K. We're beyond that now. And then the 2017 high was almost 20K or at 20K. So these, that's good. That's good. But usually when we see a high like this, there might be some healthy, it's going to be a healthy pullback. If it's going to be a healthy pullback, where would that put us? Let's see here. If we were to pull back over time, not right away, but over time, that would put us around 11.3, which is fine. That's still way above. We just don't want to go back to these levels. The 3.2. I know some people might. We don't want to get to the 3.2 range. I know some of us might actually like that to pick up some more, but I want Bitcoin to continue to rise, but the altcoins continue to follow. And yeah, PayPal's news may have had something to do with it. I think Atari came out with some type of coin, but it didn't do too well, or some type of pre-sale. I didn't look too much into it, but a lot of these altcoins and DeFi projects, some of them may be good, but some of them are just there to take your money and get the heck out, unfortunately. So you got to be careful. Bitcoin at 15K is now bigger than PayPal, Coca-Cola, Netflix, and Disney. Bitcoin surged from 190 billion to around 280 billion in recent months, surpassing some big name companies, including banks, by market capitalization. In early September of this year, the market capitalization of Bitcoin was hovering around 190 billion, while BTC price was hovering around 10K. In the past 2 months, however, the price of Bitcoin rose from over 15,000. With it, the market cap of Bitcoin surged to 190 billion from 190 billion to 280. What is this here? Just the price chart, trading view price chart. Bitcoin is equivalent to the 18th largest commercial company in the U.S. That's good news, guys. We're making headway. We're definitely making headway. Look at max voltage tells me look at the end of October, beginning of November 2017. We were replicating it this time. So that's what you think? This is where you think we are? You think we're in this growing up range? We're replicating the period. Look what happened after a 2-week volatility in 2017 to the moon. It could be. We could be on this slope right here prior to, mooning out. But we got to be careful when we want it to moon, but we want it to grow steadily. We don't want it to just shoot straight up, because when it shoots straight up like that, it has a negative impact on all the altcoins that we hold also dear. So it just really depends. But I mean, Bitcoin's growth is definitely there. We can tell that for sure. That's true. So Rapid Mining makes a key point. Same thing as I mentioned in the last live stream. Normally around Christmas, here in the United States, a lot of people would sell their crypto to, get gifts or to recoup anything or whatever. Well, Rapid Mining says, what about the Chinese New Year? They tend to sell for yearly profits. And we've seen a lot of this in the past. So Chinese New Year or the American, well, I guess it's not American, it's Christmas, or whatever you want to call it for your religious belief or family, whatever. There's usually a sell at that point to recoup, all the gifts we had to buy for our families, or had to prepare for the following year, 2021. But we may see a pullback. We may not see as big, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of institutions or major investors that have bigger pockets dare to pick up pieces as it drops. But we just have to wait and see. So we may not get that 30% pullback, but if we did, we'd be around 11.3K barrier area. Excuse me. The 17th largest company in the U.S. is Home Depot with a market cap of 306 billion. Rise and falls behind that 242 billion valuation. So our goal as the 18th is to go ahead and beat Home Depot at 306 billion as a market cap. We certainly can do that with us being around 280. Companies that Bitcoin surpassed in recent months include some of the big names such as Netflix, PayPal, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Salesforce, and Disney. And here's the list, as you can see. Actually, I want to beat Nvidia. That'd be nice. I want to beat Nvidia. So we're in between Verizon and Home Depot, and you can see all the other people above us. But that would be very interesting to surpass that. And investors are becoming aware of Bitcoin's asymmetric risk-reward potential. You know, this rally may continue into 2021 with mild pullbacks here and there. But this is certainly a new level that we haven't seen before. We've seen something similar, as Max Voltage says, you know, like 2017, but this feels a little bit more stable. This feels a little bit more sustained. We have people there to pick up if we drop, and we have people there to sell when we hit a certain price point. If you look at the VPVR. But I'm not a TA guy. I'm just saying that we got to make sure we sustain and gradually climb up. Matter of fact, let's go back to this. Some of my altcoins are doing very well. Anybody still hanging on to Litecoin? I have some Litecoin. It was doing pretty good there for a sec. But we want to see a gradual increase so we can have our altcoins come up. The dominance is about the same, 66%. We've been sitting around that for a while. Bitcoin fees plummet as mempool clears to 0. So the Bitcoin network mempool shrank to its smallest size since mid-October this week after the network's hash power soared. This is on the 11th. The clear mempool meant that thousands of stuck transactions pending confirmation were included in recent blocks, leaving very few unconfirmed transactions still outstanding. The spike in hash power has been attributed to the reactivation of China-based miners who migrated from, I can't even say that, Sichuan after the end of the province's rainy season. Bitcoin's hash rate increased by 42% over a 2-day period, November 9th and 10th. A smaller mempool is good news for regular Bitcoin users as it reduces competition among fresh transactions to get included in the upcoming blocks. Reduced competition in the mempool helps to drive down Bitcoin transaction fees as miners can potentially include all transactions in the mempool irrespective of the individual fees. And I need to do a couple of things here in a second. The average Bitcoin transaction fees reached a peak of $13.16 per transaction on October 30th, when more than 140,000 transactions were pending in the mempool. And the flux of the new hash power over the weekend allowed Bitcoin's blocks to be found faster than the benchmark speed of 10 minutes per block due to the network's relatively low mining difficulty. This allowed miners to reduce the number of unconfirmed transactions to 0 on November 9th. As of this writing of the article, they were approximately 6,000 transactions in the mempool with a median fee of 3 satoshis per byte, or roughly 11 cents. Some users have reported fees as low as 1 sat or byte for transactions that have been confirmed within a few hours. Mining difficulties are expected to increase upon the next adjustment to the account for the network's increased hash power, which would mean the current respite from the high fees would be short-lived. So that's something that needed to be resolved, because I remember when the transaction here, it actually said it here, the transaction fees got a little bit ridiculous there in 2017. We were having that serious run up. I gotta do some stuff here real quick. Let me add these articles. I usually don't pick the articles, or I usually pick the articles like in advance, but I've been super busy. I mean, I just got the 3080 from Gigabyte. I just got the Ryzen 5 5600X. The motherboard that I just showed you guys last stream was the ASRock B550 Steel Legend. I'm trying to create content for you guys on that stuff. Maybe not mining related, but just tech related in general, because I am a techie. And I just been really busy with work, and I just haven't had time to donate or to dedicate to what I love, which is to produce content for the community. But nonetheless, continue to mine, continue to stack sats, and that's something that I would like to have on a shirt, and I just got to work on that design, which I don't have time again to do. Now, quick question. If we're mining Ethereum, and I know not everybody is, like Crypto Noob UK is been mining Ravencoin, and I know Dan the Dane probably still mines Ravencoin, a few of us do, but what is this all about? I just saw this. Binance launches Ethereum mining pool is 0.05 fees. If we're mining Ethereum, I know what pools we're going to be on. It's going to be Spark Pool, Ethermine, or Nano Pool. At least that's what I'm normally on. I know some people use Mining Pool Hub, maybe 2 miners, all that stuff. But Binance launches Ethereum mining pool? What? Binance users can now sign up to mine Ether as well as Bitcoin via the exchange's mining pool. I don't know if I trust that. After its Bitcoin mining pool in April, crypto exchange Binance has now launched an in-house mining pool for the market's largest altcoin by market cap, Ether. For the first month between November 12th and December 12th, Binance is trying to miners. Come on, grammar guys. By offering a zero-fee regime. After that, those contributing their hashing power to the pool will be charged a competitive 0.5 commission on their earnings. Binance instructions for setting up the mining pool accounts that participants will need to use Windows or Linux, GPUs such as Nvidia or AMD with a minimum of 4 gigabytes, and then 5 gigabytes of virtual memory for each GPU, and mining software such as HiveOS or EasyMiner. But where is their pool? I want to see this pool. This it? No, this is Bitcoin. Here it is. Okay. So they got 282 gigahash, 1,500 workers. Here it is. Is this gonna load? Nope, it's not gonna load anything. Ethash pool.binance. Gonna load. Do you have like an actual page, Binance? Or do you just tell us where to point and that's it? Let's try this. Huh. There's got to be a way to see. Aha, so you gotta log in. Yeah, you gotta log in. I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust that. They are 27th out of all. That's very interesting. Binance is trying to get into everything, aren't they? Ethereum pool, their Ethereum pool will use a similar system to existing Bitcoin pool, FPPBS, or full pay per share. And yeah, I mean, they don't have bad hash rate. They got 1,500 miners. But it's still kind of controlled by an exchange. I wonder. I may have to log in to my account and check it out because I really would like to know why. Yeah, so it's not anonymous. Yeah, I don't trust. I like Binance. I just don't trust Binance. This was an interesting one from last week that I wanted to talk about. Well, not last week. I guess it was technically the beginning of this week. Grin's network hit with a 51% attack? What? Well, Grin's token remains resilient. All right, so Grin, which is a privacy-focused cryptocurrency built on Mimblewimble protocol, has just suffered a 51% attack on its blockchain, according to a November 7th tweet from the crypto mining group 2 miners, an unknown group, accumulated 57.4% of the total hash power of Grin Network on Saturday evening. 2 miners also had control of 19.1% of Grin's hash power, while Spark Pool miners came in at a third 18.9%. And we can see the picture here, or the tweet. And that's why, if we go over to mining pool stats.stream and we select a particular project, like let's choose Ethereum Classic, because you know they're used to it by now. Sometimes it will have the word unknown up here highlighted, where it can't verify where that hash rate is coming from. Of course, nothing to show right now. There you go. Look at this. 56% unknown. Now that may not be that they're getting 51% attack. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can see that, like a certain percentage is like, okay, where is this coming from? 59 unknown blocks. But yeah, that's crazy. Orphaned. Very interesting that was happening in the first place. Because I like Grin, but you know, privacy tokens always have a special place in my heart. But normally 51% attacks are carried by people that are just trying to screw the project over or to just get funds. They just want to get the money. They don't really care about the project. But I never suspected Grin to be one in which it's targeted. I guess I was wrong. Data from GrinScan shows that attackers were able to reorganize at least one fork block. The unknown mining group has also increased its control since Saturday, commanding a 58.1% of Grin's hash rate. Matter of fact, let's go pull that up again and look at Grin's. See where Grin's at. So 2 miners has over, and this is why I always keep mentioning we don't want to all stockpile on one pool. Now, granted, they may rent out the hash power and get it anyways, but if we all stack up on one pool, we're just making the situation a little bit more susceptible. With the group of miners controls over more than half of the network's mining power, it can affect the organization of blocks, potentially causing volatility in the token price and disrupting confidence in the blockchain. However, the mining group having control of 51% or more of the network's hash rate does not necessarily mean it has ill intentions. Spark Pool has up to 60% of the network's hash rate power before, and reportedly did not interrupt the production of Grin blocks. The Grin token remains relatively unchanged on this news, falling only 1.3% over a 24-hour period. But Ethereum Classic, which is an example, who had multiple 51% attacks in August, with the attackers causing reorganization of thousands of blocks, which would cost hackers more than $7,000 an hour to control more than half of the blockchain's hash power. Sustaining a 51% on Grin's network only costs $75, so it's more cost effective to go after Grin. Interesting. Now, if I were to mine Grin, it would be on 2 miners, but look at it already has most of its hash rate. So I like to kind of split it up. I might go over to Wooly Pooly. I just might go to a different pool. I don't like giving one pool all the network hash rate. That's not exactly a good thing to do, in my opinion. But Grin's fine. Even after this attack, Grin's fine. Matter of fact, let's go look at how it did during that time frame. So this was on the 8th. So it's look between the 7th and 8th. So nothing. So Saturday 7th, it dropped down, you know, from 24 cents down to 22 cents, 2 cents drop, and since then it's recovered quite nicely. So it didn't do anything. Just, I don't know. People have no time. I guess they have no time. I could be wrong about if they have no time or not. Anyways. We got 4 days, guys. 4 days. 4 days. Next Wednesday, Nvidia. Next Wednesday, November 18th is what I meant to say. AMD Radeon 6000 series GPUs are coming out. Who's getting one? Show of hands, class. Show of hands. Who's getting a Radeon 6000 series GPU? What's up, Work Crow? So AMD Radeon RX 6800 can, or somebody says they can hit 2.5 gigahertz. Whether that's true or not is yet to be determined. Like, for example, this screenshot shows me 2.2 gigahertz, not 2.5. So where's the 2.5 gigahertz? I don't see it. So when I get the GPU in my hand, I would do some overclocking like I like to do, and showcase the data, of course, but I want to see if it can actually hit 2.5 gigahertz. We'll have to find out. But according to the screenshot posted by CapFrameX on Twitter, the upcoming cut down, Navi 21XL graphics card will overclock to an average of 2.5 gigahertz. The sensor statistic visible in the screenshot revealed the GPU clock has been oscillating between 2.4 and 2.5. The graphics card has a reference boost clock of 2105, and here's what they're talking about. Yeah. So, I mean, this software may not be reading the GPU correctly. When new GPUs come out, some software has to be updated. We've seen that with mining programs or miners in general. We've seen that with hardware info. We've seen that with MSI Afterburner. You got to update stuff. Overclocking utilities, you got to update. So we'll have to verify when we actually get the stuff in our hands. So yeah, this guy shared a screenshot. It showed, you know, fluctuations in the clocks. How long did it sustain at 2.4, 2.5, and then fluctuate down is yet to be seen. But, you know, this particular test showed it hitting 208 and 260. If it's doing it at 269, 270 watts and hitting those clocks, that's crazy. That's good efficiency from AMD. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about. Not only from a mining perspective, because from a mining perspective, it's not about overclocking, it's about underclocking, but getting the best hash to watts. To hit 2.5 gigahertz, though, gaming wise, that's going to help you out in your frame, especially when you're running 4K and stuff like that. Now, another feature that miners probably aren't going to care too much about is ray tracing. You know, that's been a big push for Nvidia with the 2000 series or 3000 series, and AMD has the capability of running ray tracing, which I will be doing a comparison as well, pitting the 2080 against the 3080 against one of the 6800s. So stay tuned for that. But I don't think it's going to be as good as... I think it will be NVIDIA 2000 series level performance, which isn't good in ray tracing. The 3000 series is a little bit better, for sure. Not something I would turn on when I'm playing, you know, FPS, first-person shooters, Call of Duty, you know, Cold War, or Counter-Strike, or whatever first-person shooter where I just need all those frames, high refresh rate monitor. But it should still give competition in the ray tracing space, because there are people out there that like everything to be graphically beautiful. They want everything on ultra. They want to see shadows. They want to see the way the water shimmers. They want to see the physics. I understand that, but from a competitive gamer's perspective, you don't need all that. You just want the kill shots. So the CEO for SerpentX, Eric Bergman, now working for AMD as an executive vice president or VID president. I'm not sure. That's a huge typo. Has been asked in an interview about the future of Radeon graphics. AMD did not yet disclose too many details about the ray tracing performance of RDNA 2 and Navi 21 GPU, the heart of the 6900 and 6800 series. Although the manufacturer made a commitment, it will support the industry standards such as the upcoming Vulkan ray tracing API and Microsoft DirectX ray tracing, which there was an update too in Windows for DirectX support and ray tracing. Matter of fact, I probably need to update my computer. November 18th, we will see the first reviews, which is what we're waiting for, and we get to validate those claims. Now, I'm pretty sure Gamers Nexus Steve, Hardware Unboxed, Paul's Hardware, Bitwit, Jay's 2 cents, all the faves in the tech space are going to be focusing primarily on the overall performance of the card, not really so much on the ray tracing aspect, but then we should expect ray tracing benchmarks after the fact. Or maybe it might be included in the same one. Maybe they do both. But this has certainly been a crowded end of 2020 with all that's going on in the computer hardware space. Yes, the supply stinks, but with all the hardware that you can get, we're busy trying to create content for people. Eric says, our goal was a 1440p resolution to have a great ray tracing experience, and that was kind of the performance level that we targeted. Now it depends on a particular games and everybody's systems and so on, but I think you'll find that we are very good at ray tracing performance overall, and that the game support will be strong as we go through 2021, because again, we get the great advantage, great leverage. Again, we get that great leverage. I'm not sure what leverage he's talking about. It's just built in. You support ray tracing on Microsoft or Sony consoles. You're supporting AMD on the PC as well. So I don't think it's going to be as good as people are hoping as far as ray tracing. PS5 came out yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it earlier this week? Anybody get a PS5? That has the AMD hardware in it. Rabbit Mining's got a good point. Something I say every single time. AMD's drivers team is not as robust as Nvidia's drivers team, so we can expect issues, but AMD's drivers age like fine wine and will get better over time. Rabbit Mining says, my theory, AMD drivers suck. We'll take a few to optimize. Diehard gamers will say the card sucks. Sell for cheaper. Buy use for cheaper. AMD fixes drivers. Got a good deal. And mining efficiency top notch. So AMD, really good mining graphics card. Gaming graphics card. Will it compete? Will it be able to give Nvidia a run for money? That's yet to be determined. It would be nice to have competition in the space because Nvidia needs to drop their damn prices, and so does AMD. I don't like, as I mentioned many a times before, this analogy. The Bugatti was one of the first cars to be sold for over $1 million. And once it broke that barrier, everybody was like, oh, well, I'm going to sell a 1.2 million car, or a Ferrari, or I want to sell 1.3 million Porsche, or 1.4 million McLaren. Once you set that precedence, and once people are willing to pay that amount of money for those GPUs, now here we go. We're getting higher cost GPUs. If you really want the best of the best, you're almost paying $700 or above, which is unfortunate, because back in the day, if you really wanted the best, you only had to spend maybe 3 to 5. So it's unfortunate, but we need AMD to bring the challenge to Nvidia to drop everything down. Now these guys are talking about RDNA 3 roadmap. And they're wondering if there will be similar architectural gains in from RDNA 2 to RDNA 3. He confirmed that AMD has the same aggressive commitment to such performance per watt improvements. That's what miners like to see. Performance per watt improvements means we can mine at a better hash rate, but with lower power draw. Let's take a step back, look at the benefits for all. Yada, yada, yada. Nothing important to us. Okay, anyways, moving on. So the roadmap says that the architecture should appear in 2022. So with the 3000 series coming out, and the RDNA 2 or Radeon 6000 series coming out this year, we'll probably have a gap in 2021. There might be like lesser models put out, right? Like the AMD might put out the 6500 XT or 6600 XT, which actually sounds really good. The 5600 XT is a good card, especially if you mod it, you know, with like the more power tool and the red BIOS editor. If you mod the 5600 XT, the performance per watt really increases. Imagine a 6600 XT where we're getting better performance per watt because of the RDNA 2 architecture. So that'd be really interesting to see. So I suspect 2021 would be Nvidia releasing their lesser cards, right? Maybe 3060 Ti, AMD releasing the 6600 XT, stuff like that, whatever their naming convention might be. That's what we can expect. And then, you know, as time progresses, we might see, I don't know if Nvidia is really going to release a 20 gigabyte 3080. Matter of fact, I think that's been scratched. But if AMD does bring a challenge to Nvidia with this release, they may consider it. Because to run 4K games with decent frames, you need more memory. And it's just the way it is. And the 3080 got its head cut off with only 10 gigabytes when we had the 1080 Ti and 2080 Ti with 11. So I think a 12 would be a good number for that mid-range group. And just like we're seeing the memory speeds, DDR4, right? For example, DDR4, the best sweet spot for frequency is 3200 megahertz, or really 1600. But that's kind of been moved up. Now it's, you know, 36 or 38 or whatever. Not all motherboards support it, but you can see the sweet spot kind of moving up. And in DDR4, they're breaking, you know, 5100, 5400, 5200, whatever it may be. We're seeing with GPUs, not only in mining, right? You can mine with a card that only has 2 gigabytes, but it's recommended to have 4 gigabytes or above. Now it's 6 or above, and then sooner or later we're going to be, oh no, now it's 8 and above. So as technology expands, as the gaming world, you know, gets more intense, as the mining world continues to grow, we're going to see the standard that you should have continue to evolve as well. So my prediction is that 12 gigabyte GPUs, it should be 8 is the minimum. 8 gigabytes is the minimum, and then maybe you could have like a 10, 12, but I really would rather just skip up to 12 and then 16 and then maybe 20 or 24 and so on and so forth for you know, content creators and stuff like that that really do need all that memory. But it's definitely a crazy world that we're living in, because if you look at the GPUs, you can't see this poster, but you know how we have the memory modules around the GPU die? Look at the 3090. It's literally like peppered all around it on both sides, and that's a lot of memory, which flip chip design GDR6 is outputting a lot of heat, and because they're opposite to each other, they're just outputting a lot of heat into each other. So you have to build a beefy cooler to dissipate all that heat. We really need better density memory modules for the future GPUs. That's what we really need. HBM2, or I'm not sure if HBM3 is going to come out, but we definitely need to increase the memory density of our modules to hit the target of, you know, 8 is the new standard low. Like the 8 gigabyte would be like the 1060, right? Or the 3060, and then the 10 gigabyte would be the 3070, and then the 12 gigabyte, or probably just jump straight up to 16, would be the 3080 and stuff like that. You could see AMD did a good job because they went 16 gigs on all their cards. They want their cards and the people that play them to play at 1440p or 4K or whatever. And that memory, the amount of memory is very helpful to us as a miner. So I'm very interested in getting it. I do plan in 4 days on trying to get my hands on the 6800 non-XT and possible XT. Whether or not I'll be able to do it is yet to be determined because of, well, you guys know what's going on. As soon as stuff gets launched, everybody crams for it, and we're all just SOL. Not spending eBay price to get my hands on hardware. I'm not doing that. I refuse to. So this is the ASRock Tachi, I believe. Yeah, this is the it doesn't matter if it's the 6800, 6800 XT or 6900 XT. This is the Tachi, which is a typical design that we're used to. The reason I wanted to pull up this article is because I read something earlier that I wanted to inform. So 6800 AMD also made no promises on whether the 6900 XT will ever see a custom flavor. AMD board's partners have been telling the press that there's literally no reason why they couldn't. After all, the 6800 XT and 6900 XT are similarly spec'd. All right, so on launch day, we're only going to get the plain Jane AMD Radeon 6000. We're going to get the plain Jane one. This guy, I get it's not a Founders Edition, but like Sapphire, PowerColor, all of them are gonna look just like this. Now, the good news is that the new cooler from AMD will be sufficient in cooling the GPU, but probably not as good as AIB's. The AIB models probably won't come out to a later date. I doubt the AIB models will launch the same day. Normally, AMD wants to get their version of the GPU out first, and then AIBs come out with different revisions shortly after. So you could wait till December to pick up any AIB model. But I do like the design, or at least the aesthetics, of the reference GPUs that AMD is providing. One of the concerns I had, though, is ASRock in this thing has a Challenger Pro. If you remember my videos and me and my channel specifically, the ASRock Challenger, which is the yellow and black one, was a bad card. I've been trying to tell ASRock, which somebody told them something, because they changed it to the Challenger Pro, which is an all-black card. And I've been trying to get them to send me the Challenger Pro, but I have not heard back yet. The Challenger Pro, I would like to compare the differences and changes that they made, because instead of a two fan design, it went 3-fan. But my biggest concern is the memory. The heatsink that they had to develop for the memory cooling was not sufficient enough, and that's what I'm really concerned about. So if you were to get an ASRock AIB model of the 6800 series, you guys need to definitely avoid the Challenger unless somebody does an independent review and gives good data. If they're a trusted individual and gives good data, avoid the Challenger. Go with a Phantom, Tachi, whatever, or go with whatever you know is good. Gigabyte, Zotac, Sapphire, PowerColor, whatever models. Now, these are going to be similar to, I believe, the 5000 series, just a little bit different aesthetics and design. Like this design right here, this reminds me of the 5700 Challenger, but you can see that it looks like they have a BIOS switch, and then they have three, either 8 pins or 3 6 pins. I bet you that's 3 8 pins. 3 8 pins. That's very power hungry. Most AMD cards come with 2 8 pins, so I wonder why ASRock chose 3 8 pins. Unless they're, maybe you might take it and put it on an LN2. Which, speaking of LN2, I know Nemesis from Crypto and Hot Rods wants to do something. I'm definitely going to be looking into the 6800 series GPUs, because I'm very excited for what AMD has to offer in general. But I turned off the sound. This is what I'm working on right now.
Hey guys, what's going on? Vega here from SerpentX Special Forces, and we're going to be building this Zen 3 or Ryzen 5000 series system. Now, this is an old case because, as you can see, the power supply is at the bottom. This system is going to be built for Joey. This is his Christmas present. The internal components are going to be beefy enough to handle everything he wants to do and more. Honestly, I'm kind of jelly because we're going to be using the Ryzen 5 5600X, and I have the 5900X.
As far as the Gigabyte card, so the Gigabyte Eagle RTX 3080 is currently in my system, and it is the same thing. it is the exact same thing as the Founders Edition. The only thing is that the Founders Edition actually overclocked better. Red Panda Mining, thank you for stopping by, bud. Definitely going to check you out after the live stream here. We got about 8 minutes or so. But the Gigabyte card is nothing special. I really don't like the design too much. Let me show you real quick. Look at this back side. You can see the cables. And so the PCB, you know, cuts off about somewhere right there, except for that line is very squiggly. And then they have connectors going. Those connecting wires are blocking some of the heat outflow coming out the back of this. So this cutout is not really as efficient as it should be. This notch, super annoying. I believe that notch was there for the 3090 NVLink, but they shouldn't have left it there for the 3080. Okay, now this card, I'm pretty sure if I took off the back plate, it's going to have the lesser SP caps instead of the MLCC caps, so it doesn't overclock as high as we want. Even with the downgrade to the driver, which is something that I did, even with the downgrade to the drivers, what I noticed is when I'm mining, it would actually drop down. So here is a screenshot of us mining Ethereum. We're sitting around 91, 92 mega hash, pulling about 250 watts. I have a TDP power limit set of 80%. That overclock of the memory, which is at 800, should actually be 10.2, so 10,200 megahertz, but it doesn't want to push past that. Like some people could hit 1,000 plus on the memory. No, this one doesn't want to push past it. And then after a few minutes, check out what happens. Look at the clocks. The TDP drops to 65%, and the clock, the core clock, drops down to 975. Now, that's not because of the minus 400, because look, I have minus 400 set, and we were hitting 1,300 megahertz, almost 1,400 megahertz. Something is causing it to drop, which is the same problem that we bumped into on the Founders Edition, and we found out it was due to the memory. The memory was getting hot, and hardware info doesn't have a thermal probe on the memory. Maybe the EVGA ICX cards do, but not this one. But you can hit decent hash rates. I did get it for a good deal, so I went ahead and grabbed it. It can hit the same hash rates as the Founders Edition, but as far as gaming, it looks like it's an underperformer because the Founders Edition just clocks better. It had the mixture of SP caps and MLCCs, so it could just maintain those higher frequencies. I'm only able to hit a core clock of 2040, while on the Founders Edition I was able to hit 2100 megahertz on the core clock. It's mostly about the memory though. You got to keep the memory cool on these 3080 series in order to do anything good, or to get to the levels that you want to. So that is pretty much it for me today. I am gonna load up Red Panda Mining's channel real quick. It's coming on. I'm gonna hold off until he gets in. I wonder if he got the cards. Let me show you this. I wonder if he got this card. He was talking about getting these cards yesterday. I believe this is the 5600 XT Cute Cat edition. Cute Pet, excuse me. Cute Pet edition. I wonder if he got that off. I got a lot of work to do. I'm not looking forward to it. So I hope you guys all had a good week this week. I hope you guys continue to have a good week moving forward and take care of yourselves. I'm going to do what I can if availability allows, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. We'll hang out for a minute till Red Panda comes on. Just to summarize this stream, completely off the cuff. Nothing too extravagant. Cryptocurrency was steady this week. Profits are still good, at least for me. I'm not sure how everybody's profits are, but my profits are still good. averaging with my mixed rigs and stuff like that. I'm averaging anywhere from $6 to $10 a day, sometimes 11, depending on how much one's paying. I know a lot of people are using Nice Hack because we want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. But there are some projects that I like to support, and certain GPUs are focusing on those certain projects as well. It looks like Coin360 is reporting differently than TradingView as well. We're almost at 15.9, while Coin360 says 15.7. So we'll have to see. But this week we broke into the over the 16.4 arena, but then we got dropped right back. That 16K level is really a menace to us breaking, so hopefully we can see some higher levels. You know, we talked about Bitcoin having a market cap higher than big names such as PayPal and stuff like that. I mentioned also I want to advance market cap wise. I want to get past Nvidia. That would be really sweet. That would be really sweet. And right now we're sitting between Verizon and Home Depot at 280, and we're not too far from Home Depot. So eventually, if we could break past that and be amongst the top 15 companies in the world, that would be awesome. Bitcoin fees also dropped due to the mempool being cleared. We talked about Binance having an Ethereum mining pool, which is very strange to me, and I don't really trust it, but whatever. Grin had a 51% attack, but didn't really do too much to it, so they're still doing good. The price only dropped 2 cents, excuse me. And then just talked about some more hardware, because we got 4 days until the Radeon 6800 and 6800 XT comes out. And don't forget, if you do get an ASRock GPU, try to avoid the Challenger. Maybe the Challenger Pro is good, but I haven't validated that. But avoid the Challenger and try to get the Phantom Gaming and Tachi. If ASRock will provide me with the Challenger Pro 5700 XT, I will be glad to verify that it is a good card and recommend it if it's a card to be recommended. But I have not heard back from you, so please hit me up. And now we're just chilling for Red Panda Mining. So let's go hang out with him. You guys take care of yourself. Nicola, that is correct. Soon the 4 gigabyte cards will be gone from ETH, but there's always projects out there to explore, and keep moving forward. Keep grinding, keep mining, and keep stacking them sats, guys. Take care of yourselves. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you guys later on.